December may not have started on the best note as I was down with something, but after getting over that, I was left with some holiday time to enjoy games that involved getting back into a few things and continuing with some staples too. My smartphone companion game for my favorite series continued to bring wholesomeness into my days, but my most exciting point of December was getting back into a bigger JRPG with plenty of lore, with a pleasant surprise on the side being that I continued with another recent console favorite too. Mixed with focus and fun, I'd say it was a good way to end another fun year of games, so let's get into the JRPGs I played in December. Since I finished CRYMACHINA in December, as I mentioned in the last video, I spent a while mentally juggling if I was gonna play Trails to Azure or Final Fantasy 16 before finally settling on Azure, and as I think about how comfy I feel to be back in a big JRPG like Trails, it became my JRPG of the month just by scratching the itch I needed. Truthfully, I've only actually played a few hours in Chapter 2 since getting back to it, but the slow pace of its storytelling and payoff for everything you do in it was quick to remind me why I love it, and will keep me going through its story at my own pace as I lovingly spend my time trying to make the most of it. Whether it be talking to NPCs or going treasure hunting after quest events, the world is weaving a giant story together that will continue into future games like the Trails ones we'll see this year, and makes Azure itself interesting, and makes me happy to explore as I'm almost always rewarded for it. I swear I've seen multiple lengthy dialogue vents with NPCs that are completely missable that I'm glad to have found, and since I'm trying to have that kind of relaxed exploration in all of the JRPGs I play these days, it's a great way to remind me of the benefits of this type of play. Most of all though, it's creating a world I'm looking forward to learning more about, so I'll be getting back to Chapter 2 after I finish this to continue to see the moments big and small that will make up its world. I'm glad I made the time to get back to it, and hope that getting back to good games from early in the year becomes a trend I can take into 2024, as this rewarding experience with Azure has reminded me that there are many good games out already. It's a reminder of the fun things sitting on our shelves and in the history of good series, so I hope to definitely honor that more, but for now I'm just happy to enjoy this part of one of the many series I hope to get to know more. As for smaller experiences last month, I ended up playing more things than I expected. This included more of Resleriana that tends to almost always take longer than planned, at least until recently, and I also ended up craving the combat from CRYMACHINA that meant I played it unlike my original plan to leave it alone for a while, and nonetheless, it made me happy to have so many fun things to play, even in small moments and even with some imperfections in some cases. CRYMACHINA was the smoothest of the two, with the boss at the end of the area I used to grind in still undefeated and very easy to access, meaning I jumped into it more than a few times to try and beat it. Funnily enough, I never actually did, and will probably leave it for a good while for real this time, even though they did drop a new area code on X recently that is tempting to play with. But I feel satisfied with my extended time dodging and jumping around, enjoying combat against a foe with good challenge, which I think is good testament to how much it improved on its combat since its predecessor Crystal, as I never came back to that like this, so I'm glad to have spent more time with what I think is the better edition of a good duo of games. The other game I played was of course Atelier Resleriana, which I actually found a small bit of frustration with over the last couple of weeks due to the way it was kind of eating my life with how much content was in it. They do seem to be adjusting the overall content release schedule at the very least, that should be helpful now I've gotten to a point where I can just go in and do my dailies most times. In terms of my December with it, for a lot of that I was sick, which seemed like a good time to catch up with Resleriana's main story. That was something I was successful with and enjoyed a lot, with the throwbacks to different groups of Atelier characters being very satisfying for a big fan like me, and paired with fun events in the Rise affair like the Christmas one that brought in Patty, and also the addition of Chapter 6 that I really enjoyed and made me love Resna's Knight Izana even more, made for very special moments in this game that are the main reasons I'm happy to stick with it, at least aside from liking its systems. These additions brought in other things though, like additional dungeons, including a whole new group of elemental ones, and a new research mechanic that can scale up your character's levels. That was a double-edged sword, as while it meant I could challenge a lot more dungeons and recipe requirements, it also meant I felt the need to do them to keep up to date with the content rollout. It is a little my fault, as I've always wanted to be up to date with at least one of the smartphone games I played, so I value doing this in Resleriana. That means I lose days when new content comes out just to feel like I've done everything, but also some of it isn't, like events desperately needing an archiving feature of sorts in my opinion, because Resleriana is the only game that forces forces me to finish event stories before their event cycles are over, while others let me get back to them at my own pace, making it a somewhat stressful feature in an already content-filled game. There's so much I like about Resleriana that I'm not that mad at it, especially with its Christmas event and new story chapter making me cry, so I'm clearly invested in the world enough to keep going and not care that much. I just hope in the Western version it launches with some of the new quality of life things, which it does seem like it may be the case, as the Western explanation trailer had the new streamlined grow board leveling button, so it may be easier for Western players to get into it smoothly. I am up to date though thanks to free time during vacation, so I'm feeling a lot better about it and can just look forward to the next story it brings frustration free, along with getting into the first JRPG drops of this year very soon. January has begun, but the main thing I want to play is later this month, so I'm taking the beginning of the month as an extended 2023 and holding off on ranking my games of last year as I take my time finishing Trails to Azure, but I'm excited to get into what the new year has to offer too, with one of the games I'm most keen on coming out pretty soon. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth is what I'd call my most anticipated game for January, with perhaps the only competitor to it being the Neptunia sister game coming to Switch on the 23rd. Personally though, I really can't compare how much fun I think I'll have with Ichiban and crew when it comes out, so that's what I'm getting ready to play as soon as it releases on the 26th. This did involve a small mental juggle though, as it does release quite close to another anticipated release, Persona 3 Reload, that comes out early February, but I have played Persona 3 before, even if it was in its older form, and I'm more of a sucker for news stories these days, so I'm putting my money on Infinite Wealth being good for now, and I wonder how you guys will deal with that hard JRPG decision too. Whatever you choose to play, I hope you guys enjoy what you start the year playing, and hope you're also excited to play new things as they release, in another set of months in this new year full of new and exciting JRPGs for us all to play and enjoy together. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what you played last month and what you plan to play this month. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below, and until next time, thank you, bye!